Welcome to the virtual college fair. Thank you for joining us. Today's session, you will hear from our representative from Ursinus College. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button to ask the presenter any questions at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. This presentation is also being recorded and will be available to you within about a week at the same website where you registered. And now I would like to hand it over to the representative from Ursinus College.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to quickly share my screen so we can get a little bit of a CTCL presentation going on here at Ursinus. But I believe that the screen is now sharing, so let me introduce myself. My name is Douglas Ulrich. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission at Ursinus College, located in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, about 45 minutes away from Philadelphia. First and foremost, I know that we have about 45 minutes with this presentation, but I do encourage you guys to enter any questions that you have down below. I know that this is a unique year, right? There's a lot of different things going on. So I want to reassure you that we're here for you at Ursinus. We want to make sure that we're answering the questions that you have for your college search. So if there are any questions throughout this presentation, again, please do not hesitate to enter them right into the chat box below. But we are going to kick things off learning a little bit more about Ursinus College. So like I said a little bit ago, we are located in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. It's about 45 minutes away from northwest from the city of Philadelphia, which is great to have such an amazing city right in our backyard. We have about 1,500 students, so we are certainly a smaller school, but we have students who are coming from all around the country. So they will come from 31 different states. That does include DC and Puerto Rico, as well as 22 different countries. Obviously, with this presentation, we are one of the 45 colleges that change lives. So I anticipate that you guys have a little bit of an idea of what the CTCL offers. However, to give a brief overview, it really means that we're going to offer you guys a transformative education, right? Back in the early 2000s when the CTCL initially came out, it really demystified the college application process. There's certainly some very, very big name or marquee name schools that are out there that students always feel that's the school that I need to go to, right? That is the school that's going to give me everything that I need. Well, when this book initially came out, the CTCL, there were, I believe at the time, 38 colleges that people said, wow, this offers just as much, if not more, of a transformative education to get me where I need to go, and maybe in a much, much smaller capacity. So a big reason that we are a part of the CTCL and we've been so successful is because of our academics. We certainly have a high academic standard here at Ursinus, which has led us to being part of the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, which is the nation's oldest and most revered honor society in the country. Only about 10% of colleges and institutions are able to have that distinction. Many of our students know that coming to Ursinus, and they want that strong academic foundation because they want to leapfrog their career or their profession or their next step in their education. So many of our students will come here and then continue their education through a Watson Fellowship, a Fulbright Scholar, or the Rhodes Scholar program. So many of our students are continuing their education internationally or overseas. Most of the time, it's going to be generously funded as well. So again, we start with a very strong academic foundation here at Ursinus. We do have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So this, though it is through a monitor, it is through a webcam, this is very real. We want to get to know you guys, right? We want to build that relationship with you because this is what it's going to be like when you get here on campus. You're going to know your professors, you're going to know your staff members, you're going to know your peers. We do offer over 60 plus courses of study. It's about 30 majors and 30 minors. And the beautiful thing about that most of our students are going to either double major or attach a minor to the major program of studies. It's about 80% of our students who are doing that. We know that you guys are not one-trick ponies. We know that you have so many different passions. So we encourage you to follow those passions. And as you can see right here, this is just the list of our most popular majors from last year. It's biology, applied economics, psychology, health and exercise physiology, and then neuroscience and media and communication studies were tied for 5th. Now, though these were the top 5 or 6 majors, being that we are a top 100 liberal arts institution, all of the majors are held to the same academic standard. Now, we have something unique here that is called our cohort advising. Now, when you go to an institution or when you're looking at other institutions, yes, they're all going to say you're going to be given an academic advisor your freshman year. That's fine. That's no secret. We're going to do the same thing. However, we take it a step further here at Ursinus. We know that the transition from high school senior to college freshman can sometimes be a little bit of a daunting one. So you are required to meet with your academic advisor once a week, every week throughout the entirety of your fall semester freshman year. Now, this is where you're going to have conversations of what program do you want to go into? Do you want to double major? Do you want to attach a minor? Do you want to go to med school? Do you want to go to law school? What are your plans? We really want to start to have those conversations from day one. And the beautiful thing is, when students come to Ursinus, you guys are not declaring your major until the end of your freshman or beginning of your sophomore year. So you have all this time to explore all of these different majors on all of these different programs that we have here at Ursinus. Now, what we do here to kind of introduce you to that different type of thinking, or to really explore those different types of majors that you want to get into, and really to prepare you for your professional career from day one, is we introduce you to our core curriculum, which is called Ursinus Quest, Open Questions, Open Minds. Now, this is really, think about it as a philosophical book club, right? We ask these 4 questions of what should matter to me, how should we live together, how can we understand the world, and what will I do? Now, these 4 questions are asked in response to some readings that you guys are required to do, but why we ask these questions is because everybody has a different viewpoint on them, right? Not everybody comes from the same background, not everybody has the same views, the same opinions, the same values. But that's how the real world works. And that's the beauty of an Ursinus education, is that we introduce you to that type of thinking, because when you're in the working world, or even when you're here at Ursinus, you are going to have to collaborate with other students from other backgrounds to come together and find common solutions to complex problems. So we introduce the students to this, and this is going to follow you throughout your entire year or your entire career at Ursinus. So that is first going to be introduced in the Common Intellectual Experience. Those are your 2 courses that you are required to take during your freshman year. And that's really what's going to build that foundation of that Ursinus education, which is very dialogue-based and very, very critical thinking based. Now, the other thing is, we don't just want to sit here and ask these questions and give you guys hypotheticals of how to solve these problems. We want to give you guys experience. That's kind of one of the big reasons that you're going to college, is to understand what you're doing by the time that you graduate. So again, when you're looking at institutions, I'm sure many of them are going to say, well, you have the opportunity to do an internship if you so desire. But if you don't take advantage of that, you just miss out on a lot of experience. So here at Ursinus, we do require our students to have experiential learning or hands-on experience. And you can do it in one of 6 ways, as you'll see listed right there: of student research, an internship, study abroad trip, a creative project, civic engagement, or student teaching. If you guys have the time, I would recommend taking a quick picture of that just so you can remember what we're doing. But another crucial aspect of our Ursinus education is that we're not limiting you to just doing one of them. You're required to do one, but most of our students are going to do 2 or more experiential learning projects. So we really want to give you guys that hands-on experience. That way, by the time you get to senior year and you're ready to graduate, it's not so much of, well, now I'm going to receive my diploma and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. It's more of, I've been doing this for the last 2 or 3 years. I know exactly what I want to do, and I know exactly how I am going to get there. But much like you guys are much, much more than just a transcript and a test score, we are much more than just a classroom. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here on campus. Again, we're 45 minutes away from Philadelphia, so the area that we're at is absolutely amazing. But with that being said, of the 1,500 students that are on campus, 97% of them are living on campus. So this is not a commuter college. This is not a suitcase school. This is a place where students are here, and they are here all the time. So we do have multiple residency options, from your traditional style dorms to your suite and apartment style dorms. And then we also have 32 Victorian style houses that are across the street from main campus. It's still technically our property, but it's just across the street from main campus, that will range from 6 students in the smallest house to 72 in the largest house. So think of it as a nice little community or family type atmosphere that's over there. You know, maybe you've gotten to know somebody who, you know, you just have a common bond with, and your junior and senior year, you're like, you know what, I just want to live with you and a group of other people. So some of these houses are geared towards special interest. So it could be for, you know, athletes that are on a particular team. Maybe it's video game enthusiasts, maybe it's self-proclaimed foodies, whatever it may be. But you guys decide that, you know what, we have this common bond. We want to live in a unit together. So that's really what those Victorian style houses are. But I always like to paint it this way: as you're graduating academically, you're also graduating with your, we'll call your residential freedom, so to speak. So we do, again, have a couple different options, but it's certainly not a suitcase school here. There are over 100 clubs and organizations here on campus, whether that is Greek life, whether that's intramurals, whether that's club sports, whether that are they are academic honor societies, whether it's the Nerf gun club that we have here on campus, which has battles every weekend. There's always something to do, performing arts, a cappella groups. There is literally something for everybody. And if there's something that you want and we don't have, you can easily start that club. It only takes about you and 8 other students to do so. But going back to the point that we understand that you guys are not one-trick ponies, we want to encourage you to explore all the different academic interests that you have. So we have 3 interdisciplinary centers here at Ursinus, which is the Parley Center for Science and the Common Good, which think about what's going on right now with COVID-19. It's not only affecting the healthcare industry, it's not only affecting us in that capacity, but it's also affecting the economy. It's also affecting people from a psychological and sociological aspect as well. So these are things that we'll have students who are pre-med majors coming in, communication majors coming in, psychology majors coming in, and just trying to find common solutions, again, to these complex problems. The U Imagine Center for Integrative and Entrepreneurial Studies is exactly what it sounds like. For students who are really entrepreneurial minded, regardless of what major they're in, maybe they have an idea, but they want to do more with that idea. They want to bring that idea to life. We have the opportunity for our students to kind of participate in a Shark Tank experience, so to speak, and then also work with a full-time entrepreneur here on campus. And then finally, we have the Melrose Center for Global and Civic Engagement. Again, exactly what it sounds like. You want to go make a change in the world for the better, starting here in little old Collegeville, Pennsylvania. So we give students the opportunity to really explore so many different things. And that's what that Ursinus student, and that's what that Ursinus education is really all about. Of course, I cannot mention what goes on our campus without mentioning athletics. We are a very, very spirited campus here at Ursinus. About 37% of our students are varsity athletes that are participating on one or more of our 25 NCAA Division III varsity sports teams. We do play in the Centennial Conference, so I will leave it at this, but we are a very gifted team athletically and academically, as that entire conference is. Now, many of our students go out there and they're supporting their classmates because these are students who you're taking your CIE 100 class with, or these are students that you're taking your internship with, and you want to go out and you want to support them. But you also feel that pride. You feel so much spirit from representing that school on and off campus that you then in turn want to represent the school. So about 35% of our students are also club or intramural athletes. So there's so many different ways to get involved, but I do think that a lot of our spirit from Ursinus stems from our athletics because there's so much pride in wearing that UC or wearing that bear right there on your chest. So it's one thing that's very challenging to kind of articulate through a computer screen, but once you guys come onto campus, I promise you, you are going to feel that spirit. So as we're kind of talking about what you can do on campus, what are the exciting things that you can do? What about around campus? What can you do there? So we mentioned it numerous times, but we are 45 minutes away from the city of Philadelphia. We also have a program that is called the Philadelphia X, which stands for the Philadelphia Experience. This gives students the opportunity to live down in Philadelphia for the semester, and they'll do a co-op in the morning, and then they will be taught by our Ursinus professors at night at a third-party location right down in Center City, Philadelphia, right in the heart of the city. But a little bit closer to campus, we have the Providence Town Center, or the PTC as we like to call it, which is an absolutely beautiful outdoor center. Whether there's a Starbucks that's there, there's a Wegmans grocery store, there's a movie theater there's everything that you could literally want for a college age student. But it just gives you the opportunity to kind of break the monotony of being on campus and go off campus and literally just walk around the beautiful space that the Providence Town Center offers. The King of Prussia area is a very, very energetic and eclectic area that is also surrounded by 2 or 3 other colleges. So again, there's a lot of vibrancy that's going on. But what's nice is that the King of Prussia area is also home to the King of Prussia Mall, which I believe at this current time is the 2nd largest retail mall in the country. So if you ever need to do some retail therapy, that is the place to do that. The Perkiomen Trail is really geared towards our nature-minded friends. It is a beautiful little area that is right behind campus that has walking trails, that has biking trails. Ursinus even has a bike rental program to where you can rent a bike. I believe it's $15 for the year or for the semester, and you can bike all the way down to Philadelphia. I know that I will never do that during my time at Ursinus, but some of our students absolutely have. What's also not listed, but is right around the corner from us, is the Phoenixville area. And the Phoenixville area has absolutely boomed over the last 5 to 7 years, where there's coffee shops, yoga studios, there are gastropubs, there's places to go see some live bands. There's just so many different things. And when you come of age, or maybe your parents or guardians want to come visit, there's even a whiskey distillery that welcomes you right to the area. So it's a perfect place for college age students and young working professionals. I like to call it a little strip of Philadelphia, but right in our backyard. So again, there's so many different things. I know that a lot of the times we get questions of what is there to do on campus? You know, you're 45 minutes away from Philadelphia. So are you kind of in the middle of nowhere? And we absolutely are not. If you go 15 minutes in any direction of Ursinus, you're going to hit a little bit of a different flavor of the area. So we asked our students, what are the top 10 things that you must do here at Ursinus? And we'll kind of go through this list very quickly, but there's just so many different things that you should be doing before you graduate. Honestly, you should probably be doing before your freshman year ends. But number one, attend a Berman Museum of Art exhibit. We do have our own nationally accredited art museum here on campus, where students have the opportunity to work in, to curate, and do internship opportunities in. Number two, attend one of our a cappella concerts from our baritones and B naturals a cappella groups, our male and female a cappella groups. Live in a Spint or Main Street house. We already talked about that, but just living with people who you share a common bond with. Number four, bike to Philly. I just talked about that one, but we have that Perkins Trail and that bike rental program, which allows students to bike all around the great area, leading all the way down into Philadelphia. Number five, I really can't explain this one in too much more detail, but prepare for the greatest lip sync concert ever, Airband. Until this year, it has been going on for about 32 or 33 consecutive years, up until, unfortunately, we were hit with COVID. But this is exactly what it sounds like. It is the world's greatest lip sync battle. Number six, volunteer for Wismer on Wheels. If you are familiar with Meals on Wheels, it's a very, very similar organization to where if we have made extra food in our cafeteria and it has not been served, we will package that up and deliver that to those in the community who are a little bit less fortunate or who do not have the means to provide for themselves. Number seven and number eight are the exact same thing, but on different ends of the spectrum. So number seven is a homecoming weekend, which is exactly like every homecoming weekend that you've ever heard of. We bring together Ursinus Bears from past, present, and potentially future to just kind of get together over a football game and have a great time on campus. Number eight, Bear Bash is a final hoorah to our students, mostly our seniors, who are going off to go do some amazing things. So we bring in musical artists from around the country just to kind of perform and have a literal party for our students to celebrate their time here at Ursinus. Number nine, Coast of the Celebration of Student Achievement is the proudest day that we have here on campus, where we shut down the entire campus. There's no classes, there's no activities. It is just a day focused on the students showcasing all the academic achievements that they have been able to do. So maybe it's research, maybe it's a presentation, but we open that up to literally everybody. So we have so many guests on campus that day. And number 10, take a photo by the love statue, which you can see right in that picture. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with the iconic love statue down in Love Park in Philadelphia. We have our own love statue here at Ursinus, which is actually a little bit bigger than the one here in Philadelphia. So it is an absolute must-see or selfie opportunity for almost every single student that comes to visit. So as we're moving on, we've talked about the great things you can do on campus. We've talked about the great things you can do off campus. But what about when we combine those two things together, right? Specifically speaking about our internships and our job opportunities for our students. Now, this is a very, very small sample of where our students are working at or doing internships at after they graduate. But this is just a nice opportunity for you guys to see where our students are going. And the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is though these businesses or organizations work in a specific industry, they are all multifaceted. So for example, SEI is an investment banking company that is right down the street from Ursinus, that their primary focus is finance and applied economics and investing. However, they have a marketing department, they have a communications department, they have an IT department. So all of our students have the opportunity to get some experience there. Maybe you're a computer science major, but you also want to work in the financial realm, or you want to work in that industry. Well, you have that opportunity right here. The Philadelphia Flyers, the Kimmel Center for Performing Arts, the Philadelphia Film Society, to be able to work in some huge organizations right down in the middle or the heart of Philadelphia. For our students who are thinking about going into pre-med, CHOP is consistently ranked as the #1 or #2 pediatric hospital in the country each and every year. The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, we call it CHOP around here. Jefferson Health Network is one of the largest and most impressive health networks within the Philadelphia area. The Rothman Institute is one of the most recognized orthopedic institutions in the Philadelphia and surrounding area. And then also the Philadelphia Zoo for students who maybe want to go pre-vet, or maybe they just want to see how business is run in that aspect. It's America's first zoo, so it has a pretty rich tradition in everything that's going on. So with all of these things, we really don't just go through the motions by getting you into these internships, right? So you'll see at that last bottom bullet point, we have a database that we utilize, which is called Handshake, which is utilized in our career and postgraduate development office. So this is an office that you're going to get very, very familiar with, as they're going to sit down and ask you questions of, what do you want to do for a career? Why do you want to do that? What excites you? What bores you? What is something that you could absolutely see yourself doing? And we try to match you guys up with internship or research opportunities. So we have connections with over 20,000 plus full-time jobs, internships, and postgraduate opportunities for our students all around the country. So we really don't do anything by just going through the motion here at Ursinus. Everything is specific to you as students, and that's what leads to some amazing outcomes. You can see right there, about 94% of our students are working within their career field within 6 months after graduation. And we are significantly higher than the average 4-year graduation rate. We are sitting at 76% compared to the national average of just about 53%. But that's what makes us a top 100 liberal arts institution. You know, it's nothing that I'm saying behind the screen. It's nothing that I say when I visit schools or when I go see you guys in person. It's all because of you guys. It's all because of students like you who have this blue collar work ethic. You want to come here. You want to work hard. You want to do everything that you possibly can. And that's what leads to these amazing outcomes. So continue to do what you do, because that's what truthfully gives me the best job in the world, because I get to brag about students like you literally all day, every day. So that's all of these things that we've talked about in this presentation. That is what leads to these amazing outcomes. So as we move along, let's just quickly recap what makes Ursinus unique. One, obviously, why we're all here right now, being a college that changes lives, to have those opportunities, those transformative opportunities for you to come here and go, I'm going to become something more than I thought I was going to be in the beginning. You know, we really move that needle for our students to go, we're going to get you where you didn't think you were going to be able to get. That way, after those 4 years, you look back and you are part of those outcomes. The specialty scholarships we'll talk about momentarily, but we really want to reward our students for doing amazing things that they're doing right now in their community that they would like to continue on here at Ursinus. The CIE Quest, the CIE and the Ursinus Quest, that common intellectual experience, really that foundational learning here at Ursinus to critically think and to be able to understand everybody else's views and come together and work collaboratively, again, to find those solutions to those complex problems. And then finally, having that hands-on experience requirement, that XLP requirement, to make sure that you're getting at least one, but more often than not, 2 or 3 real-world experiences in the field that you want to work in. So there's all these amazing things that we're doing that we really hope you guys are resonating with, because this is really, truly what makes your college experience worth it and gives you that amazing return on investment. So now that we've talked about all the amazing things that Ursinus has to offer, how do we make this happen? So our application is now open. It is on the Common application and the Coalition application. Both are free of charge. You will see that we do have our application deadlines coming up. Some are quickly approaching. Our early action is November 1st. Our early decision 1 is December 1st. Early decision 2 and regular decision are February 1st. And our transfer application has closed for this fall semester, but there is still certainly time for the spring semester to get you guys into class. And if you guys are thinking about transferring in, please let me know, and we can certainly go over a little bit more information. What I do want to say is that we do have some application requirements. However, not everything needs to be handed in at the same time. You can submit your application, which I do recommend to submit your application before that November 1st deadline, and then you can submit your transcript, your letter of recommendation, and your personal essay. Those are the only 3 things that we absolutely require here at Ursinus. You will see, to give some framework, the average GPA last year was about a 3.45 based off of your unweighted GPA. And we do take into consideration your strength of curriculum. You know, are you challenging yourself with those IB courses or AP courses or Honor Society courses? You know, what are the ebbs and flows that we're seeing in your transcript? Those are things that we certainly want to take a look at. Your letter of recommendation technically does need to come from a guidance counselor. However, if your guidance counselor has a huge workload, and maybe you know a teacher that you'd rather get that letter of recommendation from, that's perfectly fine from us, perfectly fine for us. And then your personal essay. This is the opportunity for you to brag about yourself a little bit. And I know it's a little uncomfortable because the last 16, 17, 18 years, we've always been told, stay humble, don't be too cocky. Well, this is the time where we're telling you to do the exact opposite of that. Tell us a little bit about you. Maybe it's something that has made you who you are today, or something that's impacted you greatly to lead you into the program that you want to study. Don't just write about things that you think we want to read. When we get to that point in the essay, those essays we read time and time again, make this authentic, make this genuine, make this specific to you. And if you guys ever have any questions on what you should write about, don't hesitate to reach out to your counselor. That's what we're here for. For our transfer application requirements, very, very similar. We're just going to request a couple more things, but we still need a personal essay, still need a high school transcript. We will need college transcripts from each and every college that you have attended and taken courses at. A student conduct verification form, which can be found right on our website, and then also the course descriptions of the courses that you have taken. Some optional application materials that you can submit are your SAT or ACT scores. Now, we are completely test optional. We do not require SAT scores or ACT scores for either admission purposes or for scholarship purposes. We do not require them whatsoever. To provide some framework, however, the average SAT last year was about a 1230 and the average ACT was about a 27, and we will 100% super score your test. There is a supplemental why Ursinus College essay. Pretty self-explanatory on that one. Just let us know why specifically Ursinus is sticking out to you, why you think this is a place that you want to call home for the next, I don't even want to say the next 4 years, but for the rest of your life. So I always like to say that can be a paragraph to a page, nothing more, nothing less. That's really the sweet spot. And then we do offer interviews. If you feel that there is something that your transcript or your application can simply not get across, I highly recommend doing an interview. And think about it more as just a conversation. This is not, we're not sitting here in a stoic fashion, really asking tough questions. We just want to get to know you guys because like we said earlier, much like we are much more than just a classroom, you guys are much more than just your transcript. So this gives you an opportunity to kind of express why you would fit here at Ursinus College. So those are just some additional pieces of information that we will consider. Now, the other thing is, we want to take everything into consideration. If you have an activities resume, if there are things that you've been doing, volunteer work or community service, sports, band, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever it may be, let us know about that because those are things that you're bringing to campus that help Ursinus become a better institution. I can't say it again. Yes, academics are the priority here at Ursinus, but there's other things that go on this campus. And all of those things that happen are because of the students who are bringing them to campus. So again, we take a pretty holistic approach to that application process. And that's why we recommend some of those additional pieces of information. Now, financial aid, 99% of our students are receiving some sort of financial assistance. Every single student who is admitted to Ursinus College is going to receive a merit-based scholarship. And you'll see we do have merit-based scholarships that range between $21,000 all the way up to $40,000 per year. Our Zacharias Honor Scholarship is our top scholarship that goes to about the top 3 to 5% of our students each and every year. So that is ever changing. We really don't have concrete information to give you guys on. This is what we required to see. There's really no threshold on that one. It's just the top 3 to 5% of the pool each year. The Gateway Scholarship, however, you can get in one of 3 ways, either a 3.85 or higher unweighted GPA, a 1250 or higher on the SAT, or a 28 or higher on the ACT. So there's 3 separate ways of being awarded the Gateway Scholarship. The Reverend Rice Memorial Scholarship is also $35,000 per year. It's really geared to students who want to come in here and they want to continue to make the change in the realm of social justice. So we do have some more descriptions on our website about that. And I believe that there used to be an application that we required, but there is no longer an application. So we do encourage any student who feels that they would like to apply to that. I'm sorry, if they would like to be considered, reach out to us, let us know. The Ursinus Scholarship is for students who have not met that gateway threshold, but they have still submitted an application that has warranted them acceptance to Ursinus. So that's going to range between $21,000 to $30,000. And then for our transfer students, we are part of the Phi Theta Kappa or PTK Honor Scholarship, which is $30,000 per year. We do encourage our students to fill out the FAFSA early. It is open right now, and the FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The very first F, guys, this is crucial. Please pay attention to this. The very first F stands for free. If you are ever on a website that is asking you for your credit card information or asking you for a payment of sort, you are on the wrong website. It doesn't happen often, but it happens often enough for me to talk about this. Again, the very first F stands for free. So those specialty scholarships, I promised you guys we were going to get to them. We do have those specialty scholarships that are specific to students who are doing some amazing things already. There is a separate application process for these, and the application deadline is going to be January 1st. Now, in order to apply for these specialty scholarships, you either need to have you have to have your application in already before that January 1st deadline. I recommend going early action or early decision. Really, it is up to you, however, but you will see that they range from $5,000 all the way up to $40,000. Now, with that being said, those top two of the $40,000 scholarships are not stackable. Everything else underneath that, from the $5,000 scholarship to the $10,000 scholarship, is stackable on top of your merit-based aid. So we are trying to award as much money as we possibly can in the form of scholarship, even before federal aid comes into play. So you guys can take a look at some of those additional scholarships right on that link to the side of ursinus.edu/opportunity. But again, I encourage you guys to take a look at that, as we are trying to make Ursinus as affordable as we possibly can for all of our students and our families. So at this point, guys, as we're kind of closing in on this information session, what is next? So again, the Common App and the Coalition app, they're both open right now. So we encourage you to get those applications in. Early action is just an action. It's no strings attached. It's non-binding. It just gives you a decision much sooner than regular decision. So to put this into some perspective, if you apply early action, you will have a decision by the middle of December. So you'll have your decision and you'll have your scholarship amount. If you wait until regular decision, you will not have that information until near the end of March, maybe beginning of April. So you now have April, and that's it, to really make that big May 1st decision. If you apply early action, you have January, February, March, and April, 4 months to make that decision. So guys, I strongly encourage you to get that application in. And again, everything else, all your required material can come in after. All you need is that application in, and we can start that process. Transfers, apply now. Again, that application is open. If you're thinking, okay, Ursinus sounds like the school that I want to go to or continue my education at, we do encourage you to check that out. The Experience Ursinus days have passed. However, our fall open house is this weekend. So if you guys would like to attend our fall open house, which is virtually being done, you can do so at ursinus.edu/visit, and it should be the very first thing that pops up. You can connect with us a little bit more virtually. You can decide to sign up for our information sessions, our interviews, and then we are doing some seldom fellow Fridays. Our fellows are our senior fellows, who are students who are more than happy to speak to you about their experience here at Ursinus. The information sessions are really just this. So if you want to do something a little bit more, we do have the opportunity for you to contact your admissions counselor and maybe talk a little bit more casually. For me specifically, I cover the territories of Central Jersey all the way down to the very bottom, the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, the Lehigh Valley, and also Chester County in the state of Pennsylvania. However, all of my peers are amazing and know the same exact information that I do, and they would be more than happy to speak with you. But again, you can simply visit all of those or explore all of those different options at ursinus.edu/visit. So at this point, guys, we have reached the end of our presentation, and I want to thank you so much for stopping by. Again, I know that this is such an interesting time right now with everything going on. You know, last year, the back half of your year abruptly ended, and there's been a lot of uncertainty going into this year, but I promise you, we are here to help. Again, this is very real. This personality is very real. We want to get to know you guys. We want to build that relationship to make this transition from high school to college as seamless as possible. So I'm going to close down this presentation right now. I know that there is potentially some questions that popped up. However, if there are no questions that have popped up, I'm just going to assume that I answered everything in perfect detail and that you guys can enjoy the rest of your day, but we'll leave this open. I want to say maybe for about 60 more seconds if we don't have any questions, and then, you know, we'll kind of close off from here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Doug. I know if there's any questions, as he mentioned, please drop them into the Q&A. I just one last question. I know students are really interested in the traditions that go on at a college campus. What would be your favorite tradition that happens at Ursinus?
Yeah, I think it's tough. From an academic side of things, I think that celebration of student achievement is probably just such an amazing day. And I'm thankful that I've been able to witness that now. Just to see the pride of our students, one, walking around dressed to the nines is incredible to see. And then just the pride that they have of, oh, this is just the presentation that I was able to do. And, you know, a professor from an Ivy League institution came by to hear that because that's where I'm going to graduate school at. I think from an academic side, the celebration of student achievement is absolutely amazing. And then much like any other schools, I think just homecoming is such a bash to where we literally will come back to campus over that weekend and we just see a sea of red, old gold, and black just all over campus, because you know that the students had the opportunity to connect with bears from previous years, potential bears that are coming to campus, legacy students, and just kind of see such proud interactions between all the entire campus. So I think from a leisurely side, homecoming is awesome, but then from an academic side, the celebration of student achievement, to me, it's just can't be topped.
Yes, well, thank you for sharing that. Those do sound like, just wonderful moments. Um, and I just want to thank you for your time and providing such insightful information regarding your institution. And thank you for those joining us. I just want to mention that when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. And also, this was just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions as well. In about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recordings as well as any other sessions that you've attended at the same website where you registered. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you, Doug, for sharing the information. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.